I was kidnapped as a child. I'm a girl. My mom was a horrible addict. She barely took care of me as a kid. At the time of this incident, I was around 6 or 7. Since I was so young, my awareness and understanding of events might not be entirely clear. This happened in the 90s. One night, my mother and I went for a car ride. I wasn't sure why we were driving, and since it was late at night and the streets were mostly empty, I assumed it was very late. I had been sleeping in the back seat and don't remember even getting into the car. Eventually, my mom parked in front of a sketchy-looking house and left me in the car for what felt like hours. Out of nowhere, the car door opened and a man violently pulled me out. I screamed and cried until he stared me down and threatened, "Be quiet and don't try to run or I'll kill you." The man had a wild look in his eyes and a scruffy beard. Terrified, I obeyed. He dragged me down the street, gripping my arm tightly. With each step, I glanced back at the house, hoping my mom would come out and rescue me. Although I wanted to cry, I was too afraid. Every whimper or sob caused the man to squeeze my arm harder and shout at me. Soon, we entered the projects, a collection of buildings clustered in a rough neighborhood. We climbed one flight of stairs, then another. My feet ached, but fear kept me silent and moving. Then, as we were about to ascend another set of stairs, a man smoking a cigarette appeared. Suddenly, my kidnapper fell. It happened so fast. Before I knew it, the cigarette smoker was assaulting the bearded man, leaving him unconscious. This stranger, whom I now think of as Cigarette Guy, then tossed my kidnapper down the stairs. Witnessing the violence and the blood, a new fear overtook me, a fear of stairs. Somehow, Cigarette Guy seemed to understand my plight. While he seemed agitated, pacing and swearing, he also appeared protective. He asked me a barrage of questions, but I was too distraught to answer properly. However, from my fragmented story and a mention of a house with lingering Christmas lights, he discerned our location earlier in the evening. He promised to return me, but made me vow never to mention him to the police or anyone else. We descended the stairs, passing the lifeless body of the man who'd kidnapped me. As we hurried away, Cigarette Guy was alert to every police siren and cruiser. At one point, he even urged me to approach a police car, but my legs wouldn't cooperate, and the opportunity slipped away. Eventually, I saw my mom's car in the distance, surrounded by police. Cigarette Guy directed me towards them, and then disappeared. I reunited with my mother, who clung to me. The police questioned us, but my mother's answers were inconsistent, and I was too overwhelmed to say much. A few days later, my dad took me away. I confided in him, and from that point on, I never lived with my mom again. Reflecting on that traumatic day, I've never been able to forgive my mother. My dad believes my mom was on a drug binge, and that Cigarette Guy, likely a man with warrants, was thrown into a harrowing situation. Having saved a kidnapped child, he risked being mistaken for the kidnapper. To the man who saved me, thank you. And to my would-be kidnapper, let's never meet again.